Once again, good evening and welcome to today's class. In today's class, we are going to be moving ahead. We're going to be looking at a new topic called technical objects. And following our curriculum, technical objects are divided into three. So today we're going to treat functional locations. We're going to look at equipment in our next class and then bill of material. Then we'd have completed the technical objects. So it's going to be very important that all of you, that's why I had to wait for Nosa to join this class because it's important. At this point, you don't want to miss any class again. Because once you miss any class, you are lost. You can't catch up again. Trust me. Because whatever practicals we are going to be doing, we are going to be using the data we'll create in the system to continue to build on until by the end of this class, we'll have a complete SAP PM implementation in place. So if you miss any class, that means um, you've missed building that particular part of the entire course. So, but there is a way out. If you can quickly watch the video that we'll share after the class, and then you make up by doing the same thing in your system, then you will catch up. But if you don't do that, then you won't have anything to do in the class till the class ends. So let's understand that. Okay, so um, technical objects, and the technical object we're going to treat today is functional location. So the topic describes how objects relevant for plant maintenance can be mapped using SAP system. So functional location, what is functional location? So these are hierarchically ordered structures that represent a technical system, building, or part thereof. So in a company, you first need to decide which technical systems and buildings are relevant for maintenance. And then you need to map them in the system. So functional location is structured according to spatial, e.g. building one, building two, technical, press frame, press hydraulic, or functional, polymerization condensation. So what this is talking about is in an installation. I brought this picture so that you can have an idea of what I'm talking about. But this is not to say we're going to restrict the business around oil and gas. No, it can be manufacturing. It can be any kind of business. So, but clearly you can see the assets here. You can see different kinds of installation on this field. So this, what you see here, not everything is a maintainable asset. There are some assets that you don't maintain them throughout their life. Once you install them, you don't get to do anything on them until the highest thing you do is just to remove it and replace it. Okay, so you you select only technical assets that are maintainable, and that is the business of plant maintenance. As long as it's something you need to maintain, it will be part of the asset register. So when you select them, you now arrange them in a hierarchical order. For example, if this is a part of your technical um, objects or part of your assets, and these are technical objects, this area will have a name, and this area will be under another bigger area. This also is an object which is under another bigger object. So all of them will have their parents, and um, they will be child or children under those parents. So that's why we say hierarchical arrangement. Okay. So you can decide to structure your technical object based on spatial. For example, you say, okay, this area here, this space here, you want to call it a particular name. And there's nothing reasonable here, it's just a space. So you can also organize based on space. You can uh, you can structure based on technical, that is what they are for, press or press frame or press hydraulic, or based on function, what that area is for, polymerization or condensation. So if you want to bring this home, let's assume that there is a small factory where they produce palm oil and groundnut oil. So one part of the company, or one part of the factory, is groundnut oil production area. The other part is palm oil production area. There could be another area where they are also doing other stuff. So all these are considered or are structured based on function. So, okay, what happens here is palm oil production. What happens here is groundnut oil production. You can also structure based on buildings. If you don't have like machines, what you just have in your company is just building 1, building 2, and maybe building 3. They could also represent uh, te technical objects in the organization. So it depends on what is on ground physically in the organization. So you don't have to really structure your assets just because they are equipment, maybe they are generators or they are turbines and so on. It can be anything. As long as there is maintenance need for those assets, then they are structured. You must structure them in the system. Okay, so we use functional location to map more complex technical systems. Then we also have, when we discuss equipment, you understand what equipment. But for equipment, we use equipment to map individual objects. For example, generator, for example, turbine, for example, a pump, or a valve, a motor, an electric motor. These are individual objects. So these are structured using equipment. There's a concept called equipment in this technical object topic, which we'll be looking at. Then bill of material, which is also a technical object. Here you use it to structure the material, that is the spare parts that are for these objects. So every equipment has its own spare parts. So bill of material is like a list of spare parts for those equipment. So it's also a technical object. Step sequence for structuring of technical systems. First, you identify. First, when you come on ground, you identify which objects are relevant for plant maintenance. You make a list of them. Okay. So I have another pictorial stuff that I would like to use to demonstrate. So these are just snapshots of some of the key maintainable assets in, for example, that kind of installation I showed you at first. So this is just a snapshot of them. You can see that for every object that is identified as maintainable, it is tagged. It has a unique tag. Okay. So I will also open this. You can see this is also a maintainable object. Let's check others. You see this one? This looks like a valve. It's tagged. So this is how all the maintainable assets are tagged. And once they are tagged, you are going to make a list of all of them in what is called an asset register. Then you now begin to structure them in the system. So first you identify objects that are relevant for plant maintenance, then you now structure. Structuring is you now arrange them according to uh, child, father, or child parent concept. We're going to do that. So which objects are mapped and how do you map? Then you now classify which objects are pumps, which ones are motors, which ones are engines, which ones are generators. So you just classify them so that you are for easy retrieval of these assets. So you just go to the system and give maybe a particular class. I want to see all the motors. So system will now, but if you don't classify, you are not able to sort your assets in that manner. So classification is also important. Then you verify assembly condition of object through asset configuration. So functional location. Why is functional location created? A functional location is created for execution of maintenance task, because if you don't create your functional location in the system, you won't be able to report a malfunction on a specific location. For example, if you have location, maybe F1 in your organization, and there's a problem in F1, and then you need to report that problem, you have to specify that the problem is at F1. That is the location identity. Then for recording of maintenance task, here you are able to record gradually maintenance history on every location. So for example, if the there has been a problem in F1 for about 10 times, that history you can record it, because before you can go intervene, you must make a request that make a request to the maintenance team for them to go and address that issue. So at the end of the day, you have maintenance history build up for that location or for any location at all. So data collection over a long period. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Eventually you have a lot of data built up for every location or every equipment. Cost monitoring by area. You can now tell how much you are spending to maintain a particular section of your asset. What effects do the usage condition have on the likelihood of damage to the installed aggregate? So you are able to tell at a glance that, okay, for this particular asset, because there has been so much failure reported in that particular area, this is the likelihood of damage of that area or damage that can happen in that area. So you can pay more attention to areas that have high likelihood of damage. So this information will be built up in the system for easy reliability studies. And so that's why we create functional location in the system. So this is a pictorial representation of a functional location in a particular organization. So this is the highest level, which is a particular plant. Let's take for example, I will just use um, a household name we all know, Dangote group of company. So Dangote has a refinery now. Dangote used to have sugar production. Dangote has cement. Dangote has other plants. So each of these products are produced in a separate plant. Okay. So if, um, for example, you take one of the plants, let's say the cement production is plant C1, which is located maybe somewhere in Abeokuta or in Benue, for example. So that plant, this is where it lies in the structure. Okay. But in that plan, you have it is further subdivided into uh, other levels. Maybe because of what is happening there, you have staff quarters in that plant. You have uh, um, maybe warehouse in that plant. You could also have something else, maybe a production area in that same plant. But all these are under the entire plant. So the entire plant is C1. Then the children of this C1 are this C1-M, C1-B. They are all under C1 because they are subdivision of C1. Also, C1-M has its own children as well. Okay, because in this I call this the staff quarters. In this staff quarters, you may have one location which is the let's say the generator house. You have another location which is the security house. Okay, so this becomes children of this particular location. While on this side, maybe the production area, you have the storage, and you have the engine room, for example. So this become children of C1-B. And this is how you continue to go down. At the end of the day, you structure this down to the least level. Okay. And the least level most times is where the actual object, which is the equipment, is sitting. Okay. And that's where you can see the tag of the maintainable asset. For example, those tags I showed you in the picture, they are installed somewhere. Okay, even if the plant where they are installed is in, for example, Port Harcourt, you have to first of all go to Port Harcourt, then you now go to maybe somewhere like My One, because the plant is in Port Harcourt, but where those valves are installed is in My One. When you go to My One, you have to go to the market area. When you go to the market area, you go to the valves section. There you now see the valve. So each of those sub locations, you continue to break it down until you get to the valve itself. So the valve, once you locate the valve, you will now see the tag on the body of the valve. So the tag number plus the name of each of the locations that are above the tag put together is what is called the functional location. Okay, let me explain myself in another way. Let's say um, Dangote cement is in Benue, for example. So you have to go to first Makodi. Okay, even though it's in Benue, you have to go to Makodi. So when you go to Makodi, you need to go to one small location called Boko. Let's just call it GBK. Then when you go to Boko, you need to go to another small location called um, Tekucha. Then when you get to Tekucha, you need to go to another small location called maybe um, PET. Then you will now find the valve you are looking for located, and the tag number may be maybe 40 PY 983. So all this put together is what you will create in the system as a functional location. So the functional location where this valve is installed is in MAK slash GBK slash TSE slash BET slash 40 PY983. So this whole thing put together is, in another way you can say, is an address to locate this valve. So before you can locate where this valve is, you have to go to Makodi, then go to Boko, then go to Tekucha, then go to Bet before you will see the valve. So the way they know all this together. Now, the difference here is how you select your characters. Okay, another person may define this same functional location as MA slash GB slash TS slash 40 PY 983. So this will be another way of defining your functional location. This could be another way of defining your functional location. So, and that is why when you go to companies, you will see that their functional locations, the way they label or they name their functional location varies depending on how they want to select the characters to represent each of the sub levels of that functional location. Okay, so you can see here too. We started with C1. C1 may be that Macaulay. Then when you go one step down, you will see C1-M. Then this side is C1-B. Then you go another step down under the M, you say C1-M01, C1-M02. These are the two levels under it. This B side, you will see K1-B01. This is supposed to be C actually. C1-B02. Okay, there's a sorry, this is correct. There's a branch under C1-B called K1. So you continue to have K on this side and YB on this side. All right. So depending on what you choose, how you choose to name your sub levels. So you can see how this thing has gone down to a level where you have C1-M01-1. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is the functional location for the reservoir. Here is the functional location for ventilator. And all these are under this mechanical cleaning, which is under clarification plant. Okay. So customization for functional location. There are two very important things that must be in place before you can create a functional location. Okay, we have four here, but the most paramount ones are the first two: structure indicator, functional location category. Okay, so you have to configure a structure indicator, and you also have to configure what a functional location category. So because of we have a class in future where we'll be doing configuration, we'll be concentrating on configuration. We're not going to do all this configuration, but I would want us to do at least structure indicator now, so that we can be able to create functional locations that are uh, uh, that will resemble what we'll decide in this class. Okay, but for functional location category, we're going to use any default one that we have in the system. So during functional location category configuration, you have partner determination procedure that you will configure. You have object information, customer system, change document, status profile, measuring point category. That all this will be configured during functional location category configuration. Then you have reference location category, alternative labeling. Here you configure, you activate, you define labeling system. Okay, so these are also very important, but they are not mandatory. Okay, so first let's look at functional location structure indicator. This is one of the configurations you need to do, structure indicator. So before I do that, I want everybody to launch, or everybody to follow these paths. I like explaining the paths before using transaction codes, so that you'll be used to following the path even if you can't remember the transaction code. So if you want to locate your functional location transaction codes, you go to logistics. Everybody go to logistics. Are we all there?
Yes, we are.
Okay, okay. I don't want anybody to be left behind, so let's try and um, be doing it alongside. So uh so once you are logged in, and you're here, go to logistics, because plant maintenance is under logistics. Then you see plant maintenance, open plant maintenance. Then you see management of technical objects. So everything concerning technical object is here. Once you expand this one, you will see functional location, which is a technical object. Equipment is also a technical object. You also see bill of material, and some other kinds of technical objects are also here. All right. So, but currently we're talking about functional location. So expand functional location. So from here down to this point, you see all transaction codes relevant for functional location management. Okay, so if you want to create, this is transaction code for create functional location IL01. If you want to change the one you have created, is IL02. If you want to display the one you have created, is IL03. Then if you want to make a report of functional locations existing in the system, you have the transaction codes here as well. So for now, I just need us to use the display functional location transaction. So just double click on it. So once you double click on it, you are going to see here we have display functional location initial screen. Display functional location initial screen. So I want everybody to type 01 and press enter. Great. So 01 is the highest level, equivalent of this location, C1. So under 01, you have other children downwards. So displaying 01 is like displaying C1. And what we are displaying here is called the master data. You can see it's master data of this particular location. So this location has a name. It's called clarification plant. You can see here too, there's a name, clarification plant. So it's a plant, okay, and the name is clarification plant. So it is equivalent of any plant at all in any organization, all right, that you are probably working for or implementing SAP PM for. So that particular location, it can be a cement production area, you want to call it. It can be soya beans production area, as long as there are equipment that need to be maintained in that plant. Okay, it can be considered as a plant and a name will be given to it. So this plant is called clarification plant, and this is the master data of the clarification plant 01. We call it master data because all the attributes, all the information like class, we talked about classification before, will be entered here. Object type, authorization group. You even see manufacturer, model number, serial number. If you go to location tab, you will see plant, the plant code. Remember when we're talking about organizational level, uh, in plant maintenance, we mentioned plant. So there must be a plant code which you have already defined in the organizational level that you tie to this. Location, room, plant, work center, ABC indicator. You will see the name, address, street name, location. So if you go to organization, you also see company code. You see the business area, cost center. So anytime you carry out maintenance in this location, cost center. You have the planning plan. We discussed planning plan during when we're talking about organizational levels. Am I too fast? Well, now we are just going navigating around this master data. So not a problem if I'm fast, but it will get to a point where we are going to be creating these things ourselves. So don't worry. So we have the planner group. Remember, we discussed planner group. Main work center, which is like the workshop responsible for carrying out maintenance in this plant. You see, it's assigned here. The catalog profile. All these are information. Here you have structure indicator, superior functional location. You see, there is no superior functional location because it is a superior functional location already. You can only find some children under it, but it is not a child of any other level. So you have the construction type, you have equipment. If there's an equipment installed, you will see an equipment number here. Partner, you will see partner functions, name, address. So all this information in real sense are information about this clarification plan, and they're here. So anytime you want to check to get any information concerning the clarification plan is for you to just launch this transaction code, open the master data, and you see it. And for every functional location you have in the system, it has this master data with all this information in it. Okay, so let's go out, go all out. Let's go to list editing. Expand list editing. There's a transaction code here for reporting list of functional location IH06. So double click on it. Okay, so here the title is display functional location selection. So it's a list transaction. It's going to make a list of functional locations. So let's display functional locations that are under that clarification plant 01. So type here 01 and proceed with an asterisk. So this asterisk means that there are other functional locations that are, for example, here is C1. Here we have C1-M. So the -M is represented with asterisk. Here is C1-M01. -M01 is represented with asterisk. So any functional location in the system that begins with C1 is going to be returned. That's what this means. So for this case, the case of 01 star, any functional location that begins with 01 will be returned here. So let's execute and see. Do you have this list? Do you have this list? Hello class, do you have this list? Okay, all right. So what we've just done is we have just displayed functional locations that are already created in the system, right? And this functional location, all of them, you can see all of them begin with 01. Okay, to tell you that they are all children of 01. So like the first level here is 01, the second level is -B, the third level is -B01, B011, B01A, B, and so on. So this is hierarchical, and you will see their respective uh, description or names of this location. So for example, if you pick a particular functional location like this one, 01-BR2, it is second biological cleaning area. Okay, it is a functional location as well. So this is showing all the functional locations in the system that are children of 01. So let's go out and do something else. Now there's another transaction code here, IH01. IH01 will now give you the hierarchical, representation of this functional location. This one gave us the list form. This IH06 give us a list form. IL03 gave us just one single master data. So let's launch IH01. So enter 01 here. Once you enter 01, then execute. Great. So if you execute, you are going to have this display. Now, collapse it here, collapse it. You can collapse, you can expand. So if you expand, you are going to see the immediate or the second level children to 01. All these ones are on the same level. 01 ZPW, 01-M, 01-B, all these are children, direct children to 01. Now, if you go to 01-ZPW, you can expand it here again, and you see that the direct children of 01-ZPW are these three. They are not direct children of 01. Okay, but they are sub children of 01. They could also have their own children, but in this case, it ends at this level. Okay, if there's a further level below it, you can expand it, but you can't expand at this level. So let's expand the second one too. You see, he has three children, and each of these children has another other children under it, other nodes under it. You see, and then it ends. Expand. So continue to explore this structure, and you will see that it is a complex structure that is, defined hierarchically. Okay, according to how these assets are physically on ground. So each of these levels is what we call functional location, and you can see their their descriptions to tell you what they are. So you can continue to go down depending on how detailed those you want to make that particular location. Okay, so this is what is called functional location structure. It's a structure list. So this will show you clearly how it is structured on site. And this will be helpful to people who especially are new in that organization. Maybe you hired a new maintenance engineer, and the maintenance engineer does not know how the assets are physically on site. But when they run this transaction code, they'll be able to know that, okay, if I'm in the plant, if I'm in 01, which is clarification plant, and I expand it, I'm going to have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different locations in 01 in clarification plant. So if I'm interested in biological cleaning location, I'll expand it, and I will know that in biological cleaning alone, I have this pump section. I have pump section in biological cleaning, filter building in biological building, first biological cleaning, and second biological cleaning. These are levels or locations under the biological cleaning. And if I go to pump section or biological cleaning, I will see pump set 1 and pump set 2. So if I go to pump set 2, I will see valve 1 and valve 2 in that location. So I don't need to ask too much questions. If I know how to navigate through this, I will know that if I go to even if I go physically, this is exactly how the assets or the assets are structured physically. Okay. So far so good. We've been able to talk about a few transaction codes. Create functional location. Create functional location transaction in summary is IL01. Change functional location. That's after creating, you want to go modify a data inside the master data. You use IL02. Display, just to display master data of a particular functional location, is IL03. And it still follows that pattern: 01 for create, 02 for change, and 03 for display. Then list display, that's like reporting list of functional location, IH06. And then structure display, IH001. So there are many other transaction codes about functional location. But as beginners, if you can know the use of this functional location, this transaction codes, it's a good start. So these are functional location transaction codes that we are going to be talking about. So first of all, create functional location. So I want us to do something. I want to also decide a company name and decide how we want to structure our functional locations, and then we'll proceed. So let's let's assume, or let's talk about this Dangote cement company. Okay, so and we'll decide the plant name or the plant code. Let's say the plant code is and we'll name the plant based on the name of the location. Okay, so let's actually try to make it look like this. So the cement plant is located in Makurdi. Okay, so when you go to Makurdi, then you have to go to Boko, because it's another small area in Makurdi, um, where the actual installation is. Then when you go there, there's another village or there's another area in Boko where you can actually meet the installation, and that place is called um, maybe something like this. See, or let's just make it four characters at this level. Then you have a particular area again where your equipment is installed, and that place is called um, maybe let's call it production area. Then in production area, you now have your equipment. So the first equipment is a valve, and the tag of the valve is 40 okay, let's use PY 401. So this is the first equipment or the first maintainable object in this plant. So before you can get to this plant, you need to go to Makurdi, then Boko, then Tech, then production area. Then you will see this valve installed. So I want us to call these subdivisions names, to give unique names to these subdivisions. So the Makurdi location, let's call it what? The site. That is the site. Then under the site, we have a sector under the site. So let's call Boko as a sector. Then let's call it a system. The system where you have a system. The system is made up of different units. So there are different units here, not just one equipment. Different units are in tech. Then the production area, let's call it unit. It's production unit. Then the last level is a tag. So this is site, this is a sector, this is system, because here, when you talk about system, you are referring to different equipment that make up a system. And then here, you are talking about the production unit, where you system area. Then you now have the tag. So we can as well have another sector. And the sector could be mark, because the site will always, the sector must always be in Makurdi. So the second sector, let's call it um, maybe, what name are we going to give it? Let's call it Aba. Aba. Just forget, it's not really the Aba, but I just want a name that has 3 characters. It's a sector, and then in the Abbas sector, we have a system also called SECI. And then we have transport unit. This is where you transport the items or the products you have made. Then in the transport unit, you have also equipment that are in the transport unit. So one of the equipment, the tag number is maybe 30 um, um, CR 502. Okay. Then it's possible you can also have another sector. So in each of these sector, you have different things happening in this sector. Just like you go to a particular site and then you see one area is for transport, one area is for production, the other area is for storage. So we have another sector called MAC, and this one is in ASA. Then that's the sector is ASA, and then the system is Gen. Then here is power units where you do your production, power production, and then you have one generator installed there, and the tag is, let's make it 4 here all the times. Let's make it 4 here all the times at this level. So the generator tag is 50 XA or GN 924. So already we have all these are under what? They are under Makurdi site. So there's a site called Makurdi site, and in this site we have 3 locations. One is Boko, the other one is Aba, and the other one is Asa. And in Boko alone, it's possible you can have about 3 or 2 systems. Let's just make it 2 systems in Boko alone. So all the systems in Boko you will have, they will start with Mac, Boko, then they will now change at this level. So one of the systems here, let's call it CRS or Critical Safety System, CSS. And then here you have maybe um, something like deluge, and the tag is 20 XV 456. Then you have another system under the Boko. So the system also will begin with this Boko slash let's call this what system are we going to call this now? Maybe as I don't know. Let's call it maybe distribution. And then here you have something like or let's say lifting, and then you have the crane, and then the tag is 60 BV 670. So the same way we have all this under the Boko sector, you can also have under the Aba sector. Then you can also have under the ASA sector. You can also have under any other sector. So how many sectors do we have? We have Boko, Aba, and Asa. How many systems do we have under Boko? We have TS, EK, CSS, and then the lift. Okay, then you can have also different systems, because at this level is where you start to see the system name will change, but the site name will remain the same, the sector name will remain the same, but the system differs. So this, I'm just trying to create something that does not exist so that it will be original. Okay, so we are going to force SAP to be able to record these assets. These assets that follow this nomenclature, we are going to force SAP to record these assets in the system. So that is where this comes to play. What is called structure indicator, functional location structure indicator. You can see here we have like a template, okay, defining the various levels we are talking about. So this level 1 now is the site, level 2 is the sector, level 3 is the system, then level 4 is the unit, and then the tag level. And all these things you are seeing here, X stands for alphanumeric. It means that any number can, any character can enter at this level, okay, and you must have 4 characters at this level. Here is only alphabets. So you can't put a number at this level. Okay, but there will be a dash in between them. Then only alphabets can enter here. Then a dash. At this level takes only 3 characters and they must be numbers. Then the 4th level takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters and must be alphabets. And then the 5th level takes what? Alphanumeric, meaning whether alphabets or numbers. Okay, so you need to define this structure indicator in the system in customizing before you can be able to, and you have to define it to suit your nomenclature, your naming fashion. Okay, like the one we just created here now. So this is explaining the levels. So here, level 1 is talking about a plant. So that's where we are. It's talking about a plant. So the plant name is Makodi plant. So the second level is a sector, or you can also call it a department, the way it is called here. So that's a department that is responsible for a particular thing. Okay. Then the third level is location. Fourth level is sub department. And then the 5th level is operating area. So this is another way to explain your levels. I chose to explain mine as site, sector, system, unit, and tag. So this is the site, this is the sector, this is the system, this is the unit level, and this is where the equipment is installed. So it's like an address. You must go to the site, then you branch to one of the sectors. Of course, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sectors. So you must go to, if you want to go to this particular equipment, you have to go to Boko sector, then you go to the unit TSEK, then you go to, sorry, the system, then you go to the unit production before you can see this equipment. Okay, so now how do you create your structure indicator? In creating your structure indicator, you have to configure the coding template. Okay, so coding template, this is your coding template. Okay, so coding template is used to control which characters may be used for identification, whether letter, number, or both. That is alphanumeric, and how these characters are grouped together or split. Then the second thing you have to configure also is the hierarchy level. So the hierarchy levels are used to define which levels ends at which character and how many hierarchy levels the structure may contain. So this is your hierarchy levels, level 1. So this is telling you that your functional location is in 5 levels. the first level, second, third, fourth, and fifth level. So you can't do anything, you can't code any functional location beyond these 5 levels. Okay, so a functional location can be identified using a maximum of 40 characters. Okay, maximum length of the coding template. So if you must define your coding template, it must not stop at the fifth level. Depending on what you want to achieve, it can extend, but the total characters, including space and all these special characters, must add up to become 40 characters. It cannot exceed. So we have an example here. This is your coding template. This is your hierarchy levels, and you can see the resultant functional locations. So at the level one, you have AN. It means you can have a letter and a number. At level 2, here you can have a number, sorry, a letter and 2 numbers. This is level 2. You see, a letter and 2 numbers. Okay, and again, space can also take that level. Then at level 3, you must have just one character, which is a number. You see, this level 3. Okay, then at level 5, it takes only one character, and at level 6, it takes what? Only one character. So in this scenario, the explanation is at level 1 is the asset itself. So you can also, instead of structuring an area, you can also structure an equipment. Okay, so if I take a turbine, a gas turbine as an asset or as an equipment, I can take the entire gas turbine at level 1. Then the sub component of the gas turbine will be at this level, and then the sub, so it will continue to break down to the least level on just the gas turbine. In this case, it's on an equipment. So even if in your company you have just one equipment that you are maintaining, you can also do a structure of it in the system, and all the components of that equipment can be structured in the system. So it mustn't be a company that has different sectors scattered everywhere. It can just be a generator. So you want to implement PM just to maintain that generator, just one generator. Of course, the generator itself as an asset will be at the highest level. Then the engine that is powering the generator is another level. Then if you go down, maybe the alternator, all the other components can be at different levels. And in this case, you have structured the generator at different levels. Okay, so let's go on into our SAP system and see how we can define our structure indicator. But before then, how is our structure indicator going to look like? Looking at the structure, the functional location we have in place. So it means that at the first level, we're going to have something like this: letters. Then we have a slash. We have 3 characters which are letters, and then we have 4 characters which are letters, and then we have 4 characters again that are letters, and then we have numbers, then we have letters, 2 characters, and then we have 3 characters that are numbers. So our how do you call it, edit mask or our coding template can be like this. So following what we have explained, who can tell us how another possible coding template that we can create from this our structure? Anybody, any idea? Just call it out. If it's correct, I will say that's fine. Okay, maybe if I explain, you understand what I mean. So the next coding template can also be like this. It's also a possible coding template you can have. So if I do a template like this, will I be wrong? Hello?
No, it's correct.
Very good. So because what I've just defined here is that at every level, I have the required number of alphanumeric characters because XX stands for alphanumeric. X is alpha numeric. A stands for letters or alphabet. Then N stands for numbers. So anywhere you find these indicators, you can only provide that type of character. Okay. So anywhere you find these indicators, you must provide that kind of character there. So the one that breaks the whole rules is this XX because it's alpha numeric. Okay. So let's go into our SAP and um, try to configure this coding template. So we are going to go to the SAP backend for the first time in this class. And the transaction code to go to the backend is SPRO. So everybody launch SPRO. So we'll just go there and do this briefly and then we're out. SPRO. Okay. So once you are here, click on SAP reference IMG. If anybody has any issue, just let me know. Call my attention. So SAP reference IMG. So this is your SAP backend. So here, the backend is organized according to the models, the various models in SAP, the finance model, the MM model. So because we are doing PM, we need to look for plant maintenance. And plant maintenance is here, where you have plant maintenance and customer service. Have you located it? Hello?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So there's a small arrow, black in color by just by it. Click on it and it will expand the structure. So once it expands the structure, locate master data in plant maintenance and customer service and expand it further. So once you expand it further, locate technical objects, also expand it. So once you expand it, locate functional locations and expand it. So when you get to the point where you start seeing all these execute buttons, you know that you are almost reaching the end. And when you are at the end, you won't see any arrow again. You see just a dot. So all these ones have ended. But these other ones that have arrows, you can still continue to expand. But what we are looking for is somewhere here. We don't need to go further. What we're looking for is this one. Define, hold on, not this one.
It's the first one
Which one?
at the top. The create
Yes.
structure.
No, not this one. This for reference. 1 second, let me add someone in. What's happening? So, where is this structure indicator? Okay, looks like it's this one. Oh, okay, that you're correct. It's this one. Okay, so just click on create structure indicator for reference location / functional location. So execute the button, and you are going to see already existing structure indicators here. You can see all these are structure indicators, and you can see the edit mask defined for them here, different edit mask. But we're going to create a brand new structure indicator. So at this point, if you want to create a new one, if you see anyone that looks like what you want, you can actually copy it. Okay, to copy it is just to select, for example, this one and click on copy. Okay, but we're not going to copy this time. We're going to create our own. So every company or every organization you go, they have a different structure indicator they're using, and that's why their functional locations look different in terms of the nomenclature. Okay, but if you want to copy any standard one SAP has already provided, you just select it, click on copy, and then you can rename it as maybe ABC uh, structure indicator, and now it's created. You see a second copy of it is here. We'll copy it from this one. Okay, then you can save it. All right, and it becomes a structure indicator. But this time we're not going to copy. We're going to create a new one. So to create a new one, there is a button here called New Entries. So click on the button. So once you click on the button, we are going to give it a name. Okay, let's just give it the name of that plant, Makodi, M-A-K. M-A-K. So the title will be Makodi structure indicator, so that we can be able to identify it at the front end. So here, the edit mask is where you're going to define the coding template. And here you're going to define the hierarchy levels. So what's our coding template? We agreed that which one are we going to use? Any of this will work, but this is simpler, so we can just go with this. Okay. However, this can also work. This one is very strict, because if you use this one and you miss entering number at any position where you're supposed to enter number, system will reject it. But this one is quite friendly, because you can enter number or character or letters anywhere. So let's go with this. Okay, but we're going to ensure that we maintain the number of characters at each level. So our first level, we have XX, then /XX. So type XX, maybe capital letters, then slash XXX again. Sorry, it's triple X at the first level, triple X at the second level, then 4X at the third level, XXXX. Then at the fifth level, always separate it with a slash. At the fifth level, uh, then after the slash, sorry, let me check what we have. Then at the fifth level, we have 4x2, 4. Then at the tag level, which is the final level, we have it also broken down to xx-xx-xxx. So that's exactly what we are going to enter. So xx dash xx dash. So here too, we want to maintain only 3 characters. So xxx. So once you do this, you are fine. Are we done? Are we done? We're almost there. So to define the hierarchy levels, you must define the hierarchy level. You can see it is a mandatory field. With this small tick here, it means that it's a mandatory field. You must provide the information. So when we define hierarchy levels, ensure that at the end of a particular level is where you define the level number. So press space bar until you are at the end of the first level, then enter 1, meaning that level 1, that is where it ends. Then press your space bar until you are at the end of the second level, enter 2. Your space bar again, enter 3, level 3. This is level 4. You can make this level 5, 6, and 7. So we're defining several levels for this. Ensure that the level numbers are at the last character. They're exactly aligned with the last character. They must align with the last character. So once you've gotten this correctly, then hit the save button. Or should I just hold on a little bit for others to also achieve this? If you are done, just raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, Steven is done. Steven is done. Who else is done? Or are we not? Okay, David is done. Only 2 people are done. Others are not attempting it. If you're not attempting, just say you're not attempting so that we won't be waiting for you. Nosa is done. Joshua and Omoridion, are you not attempting it?
Okay, so I got disconnected, and by the time I
Okay, so you
reconnected,
lost. You lost. Okay.
everyone,
So what
yes.
you can do is after the class, try to replay and do the same thing. You need to create these things in your system so that we can continue to move. Omoridion, are you done? Or you are not following us? Okay. So, but it's important you follow as we are moving on. So once you have correctly entered it this way, click on save. An error message. What's causing this error message? Do you also have the same error message?
No, mine is working fine.
Okay, yours is working fine. So there is a problem with mine.
It's yours. Sorry.
It's my what? Help me,
I can
please.
see a double slash. I can see a double slash in your edit mask.
Here?
Yes, there is a double slash. Uh,
Where?
just come, bring your
Move to
mouse.
the left.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right here. Okay, no
Yeah.
wonder. So let's see. Hierarchy level must not end with a separator.
Just check. The 4 is not directly under
Yes.
your level. 4 is not directly under the last. This is correct. Then check the 7 as well. No.
Okay.
And the 7.
7. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, now it works. So once you are here, it means that your system has accepted, you have followed the right format. So what this means is, it's just like when you create a document in maybe Microsoft Word, you have to save it with a name. So here in SAP, when you do configuration, you must save it with a name. So this is like a customizing request that you need to save. So you need to save it properly so that you can identify it later and transport it. Remember, in our earlier classes, I was telling you that there are phases during configuration or during implementation. There are phases you have to develop in the development system, then transport it to quality system, then you now go live in production. So this is like you are developing this in the development system. So you need to save it properly so that you can know the file name where you have saved your configuration data so that you can do a transport to the quality system. So uh, let's save our customizing request. Click on this create button, then give it a name. Call it uh, mark structure indicator. And then click on save button at the bottom. Then you can see that your short description will be mark structure indicator. So just click on continue and it will be saved. Data was saved. So if you have done this successfully, then let's go all out to the home page. Keep going back till you get to SAP Easy Access and you are back to the front end. So in brief, that is how SAP back end looks like. All configurations are done at the back end. Users don't know what is happening at the back end. Users don't have access to the back end. But whatever you have configured at the back end is pushed to the front end for users to consume or to utilize. So what we have just done now, we can see it, we can apply it when we are creating our functional location. So let's go to the logistics, or if you remember the transaction to create, you can type it here directly, IL01. But if you cannot follow plant maintenance, technical objects, then functional location, and then you can see IL01. So double click on IL01. Are we all here? Okay. So once you are here, I want to believe everybody is here. So once you are here, notice something. Look at the current edit mask that is here by default. It's a different edit mask from the one we how do you call it, we created. So let's try to create this our functional locations based on this edit mask. For example, our first level is mark, so it's equivalent of the 01 we used before. So if I type mark here and I attempt to create, look at what system will say. Functional location label must not end with a separator. It means that this does not conform with the edit mask. In this edit mask, the first level should have only 2 characters. If I remove 1 character and I press enter, label MA is already being used. Okay, this is another error. It means there's something already existing as MA. Let's try maybe PK. Okay, so PK is not existing and it works. The reason why it works is at the first level, it is just 2 characters and it's alphanumeric. All right, so PK, it will, if even if you use numbers, say maybe 0, 3, if it does not exist before, it will work 0 0. So but most of these numbers already exist, so they will not work. So look at where you can select your structure indicator that will suit this functional location nomenclature we have defined originally. So if you come here, you will see structure indicator. So click to search. click by the button here, and you see all the list of structure indicators that exist in the system, including the one we just created. So look for McCordy structure indicator. I found mine. So whatever you create at the back end will appear at the front end. Okay, and it will now work the way you want it to work. So double click on Mac structure indicator and press enter. You will see that this edit mask will change. It will change to your edit mask. Is it clear? So automatically the system is ready to accept your functional location. So let's create the first level, which is XXX. And our first level in this case is what? Is Mac. Remember, all our functional locations must begin with Mac because Mac is what? The first level. See, Mac, Mac, Mac. So our level 1 is Mac. So let's create Mac. So type in Mac. Press enter. Then system will accept. Right? So give the description of Mac as McCordy or McCordy plant. Right? For the sake of the training, the time we don't have, we're not going to bother ourselves entering every detail, okay, in these functional locations. But in real sense, you have to provide the object type of this functional location, the weight, everything, especially for functional locations that you can identify those attributes. Okay, let's go to location, enter plant 1000, press enter. Go to organization, enter, select a planner group, also enter a cost center 40,000. So these cost centers are already created, they are in the system, but you can search here to get anyone. Okay, there are a lot of cost centers in the system that you can select from, but for now, just enter 40,000. Then come to groups that exist in the system, select the first one, 100. Then main work center. Remember in our previous class, we created a main work center called test 000. So let's look for it and enter it here. It was created in plant 1000. So once you click here, enter plant 1000 so that it will narrow down to all work centers in plant 1. If I'm too fast, please, you can call my attention. So I'm looking for that test work center we created before in our previous class. If you find it, just double click on it. And that's why every single thing we're creating here will be useful to us as this training continues. So I'm looking for test 000. Have you found it? I can't even find my own. So you can also search with the keyword of the work center. So if I can't find it now, I will have to search with keyword test 000. Okay, let me search with keyword and see. So to search with keyword, if you click here, there's a place called description. So inside this description, type test and then put an asterisk. This asterisk represents characters that you don't want to provide here. Okay, it's like a wildcard search. So you can see now I found everything that has test on it is displayed here, and I can see my test 0001. So if you have not also found your own in that long list, then there's a way to filter. If you click search and then you go to the description field, type test, because test is the keyword, then asterisk. Asterisk represent all those 001 we don't want to provide here. Okay, so if you now click search, every function, if every work center that has test in the description will come. And of course, this is the one I'm looking for, test work center. Double click on it and press enter. So under structure, we are not going to do anything. So just save. Once you are done, save your functional location. Great. So that functional location is saved and it is the highest level. It is equivalent of this level we have just created. This is what I mean. We have just created this plant, and in our own case, it is plant Macaulay plant. So we're going to create this level and this level. Okay, and in our own case, we have about three. We have Boko, four. We have Boko, we have Aba, we have Asa, right? That represent that singular level. But for the case of this example here, we have just two, this one and this one that are on the same level. So at this level, we will have three. So we're going to create all the three. So let's go back to SAP. And the first level is Macaulay slash GBK. Then we'll create Macaulay slash Aba. Then we'll create Macaulay slash Asa. These are sub locations under Macaulay. So let's create Macaulay slash GBK. So just enter slash GBK. And of course, this will work because on the second level, we have three characters, XXK. Okay? Then press enter and call this level Boko. Okay? And because Boko is under Macaulay, you can see that system has copied some of the information from Macaulay into Boko. Like you see the similar information like plant is copied into Boko. We didn't provide that. See, all this information are copied because Boko is a child of Macaulay. So whatever Macaulay has, Boko will have. Boko is also using the same cost center. We didn't provide this. It was copied from the parent. Main work center is copied from the parent. Okay, so it reduces the effort to provide this information, so you can save it as well. So the next one we're going to create is Aba, and Aba is also a child of Macaulay. So press enter and enter Aba. Maybe Aba location or just Aba is fine. So here too, you see this information will be copied as usual. So just save it. Then the last one is Asa. Enter Asa, maybe Asa North, and then save. So all the three levels under Macaulay are created. We created Boko, Aba, and Asa. So the next level we are going to create is a systems. So we have three systems under Boko alone. Okay, we have three systems under Boko. We have TSEK, CSS, and LIFT. So we're going to create these three systems under Boko alone. So it means that we're going to create these three times. So when Macaulay slash GBK, am I too fast? Are we doing the same thing? So who has reached this level? Because I'm ready to wait. Who has reached this level? Who has created all the three? Stephen has created. So Stephen has created the three sectors, Boko, Aba, and Asa. Who else has created? So those of you who are not creating, when you have the video, make sure you create, because as we continue to move on, all these things we are creating we need them to use them. All right. Okay. So let's go back to SAP. This time around, we're going to create three systems under Boko. These are the systems. Remember, we said the first level is site, the second level is sector, which is Aba, Asa, and Boko. The third level is systems. So we only have three systems for Boko. We don't have any system for we have only one system for Aba. We have one system for Asa. Okay, so let's create the three systems under Agbo. The first one is TSEK. So this we're going to enter Makurdi / Boko / TSEK. And of course, at this level, system will accept 4 characters. So what happens if the system character or the system code is less than 4? If it's less than 4, for example, it's TSE only, then you have to provide a space before this. Okay, so that space will serve as a character. But in this case, it is TSK, so it conforms with level 3 requirement. So press enter and call this say Kucha, right? That is the name of the location. Say Kucha, TSE, then Kucha, right? So this also is a child of Boko, and it will copy all this information. Other information that are not there, you can. And again, if you come to structure now, you will begin to see that there is what? A superior functional location allocated to this level. So this level, Sekucha, is under Gboko. So that's why the superior functional location is Makurdi / Gboko. Okay, then let's save it. Okay, so the second system, Stephen, your hand is up. Do you want to ask a question or is your former hand? Okay, so the second system is CSS. Okay, so this CSS, let's create it as well. So here we erase this and we'll add CSS and then press enter. Let's call this critical safety system. Okay.
Sorry, please. Just a moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, the CSS is actually 3 characters. So I was expecting a space to make it 4 since our edit mask has 4 characters.
Okay, that's a good question, but already there is a space.
Okay.
Even if I press like this, there's a space. If I don't press, there's a space. The only time you have an issue is if you want to create the level above it, you have to define the space before you can create the next level. But because at this level, it requires one more character, and you can use space to achieve that. And again, there's nothing in front of it, then automatically there is a space there. So it will allow you. Is it clear?
Yes, absolutely clear.
So this is critical safety system. And again, you provide all the information for this system and you save it. Okay. The next system we have in Boko is lifting system. So I will erase this and I'll enter lift. So let's call this lifting system and let's save it. Okay. So now we are done with all the systems in Boko. Let's now create the only system in Aba. The only system in Aba, which is Seki. Okay. So don't mind the way I am calling these things, okay? But if you are doing real-time configuration, you will meet different nomenclatures, different ways of defining these things. So I'm just assuming that in this particular plant, this is the way those locations or those levels are called. So now I want to create one level under Aba, which is the system. The only system in Aba is Seki. So it means I'm going to branch to Aba first. I will no longer branch to Boko. Aba, then Seki, because Aba is already created. So I will call this Seki layer. or SAP system. SAP system, and then I will save as well. Then I will create the only system in ASA, which is the gen system. So I'll go back and I'll branch to ASA. I'll branch to ASA /gen. And here too is the same thing. We need 4, but we have 3. But because there's a space, generation system in ASA. So I will save as well. So the next thing is this level, which is called what? The units. So there's a production unit in Boko. There's a production unit in Seki. There's a deluge unit in CSS, and there's a crane in the lift. So we have to create this. So we'll first branch to Seki, TSEK. So let's branch to Seki. Oh, this one. I think it's this one, TSEK. Then slash, this time around, we'll move further and create our, I think it's production units. So we'll create our prod. And of course, it's 4 characters. So let's call this production unit, right? And then we save. We're heading somewhere. So in CSS, we have the deluge unit. So we'll branch to CSS, Boko CSS, and then we'll create our deluge unit. Okay, now you see what is happening, right? Because we want to move further from CSS, which has only 3 characters. So if you just put your slash just after the last S and you put deluge, system will not accept. See what system is saying? Only letters and figures allowed at the present cursor position. What this means is this level does not take only 3 characters. So you must create a space which also can represent a character before you put your slash, and then you create your deluge. Okay, so now it will go. So this is deluge units. So let's save. Then the next is the crane unit under lift. So we'll branch to the lift. We'll do a branch to the lift. This is the lift system. So under the lift system, we'll have crane. I think CRN, right? Then I'll call this crane unit and I will save. Okay, we are done with all the systems in Boko. So we'll move to the only system in Asaba, which is Seki. So we'll branch to Seki and create transport units. So let's branch to Seki. Where is Seki? This is Seki. And then we'll create the trans unit. So let's call this transport unit. So again, I'm not entering all this data because this data, now they are children of the parents. So they are copying data for them. But again, if you have specific data about each of the nodes or each of the levels, you can edit and put the specific information you want. You can see all of this is the parent. It's called superior functional location. It means that Mark Abaseki is superior to this trans I'm creating. So I will save my trans now. Then I will try to create something for the power unit for the gen. So I'll branch to gen. I'll branch to gen and I'll create power, POWE. Okay, so here too I have that error, okay, because at this level we need 4, but we have just 3. So I'll create a space and then before I'll enter my power. So now this is power unit. So I'm creating units now. So the power unit on that gen is created. So I'll go to the last one. Okay, this is the last one actually. Now, the next level I'm going to be creating is all these equipment, the main objects that are in those areas, okay, which is where you find the tag. I explained to you when I was at the beginning of this class, I showed you how these equipments are tagged. So, where is this thing? So, you will find this object installed somewhere and there is a tag on it. So once it has a tag, you know that it's a maintainable object. Okay. So for example, in our own case, we have these tags, and this tag 40py 401 maybe is a tag for let's call this, because this is a production unit, so let's call it um, maybe water production. So a machine or something. Then this is deluge. So let's call this is a deluge valve. And then this is crane. So let's call call this a crane. Okay. Then this is what? A gen. Let's call this a generator. And this is what? Okay, this is the end. So we are going to create this level where these objects are installed. Okay, so first we are going to create a tag 40py401 under what? Production unit, and this is the tag for the machine producing what? The water, the potable water we are using on this plant. Okay, so branch through let's branch through the production unit and then create our 40 dash py dash 983. So I press enter and I will enter um, water maker, water maker machine, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so this machine is in this location and all these details are entered for it. Then I will save. Then the next equipment, maintainable equipment we're going to create is this deluge valve 20XV456. And this is under which unit? This is under the Delu unit. So I'll branch to the Delu. I'll branch through the Delu unit. Let's go. So this is the Delu unit, and I'm going to create my deluge valve. Okay. So this is my deluge valve. Let me copy the tag XV 20XV456. And sorry, this doesn't copy like that. Okay, so you notice that you cannot copy from this your local system to your virtual machine. That's just what happened. 20XV456. You have to type it, except if you use XV, I think 456. So here I'll call it the deluge valve, and I will save. Then again, I have the crane 60 BV 670. So I'll branch through the crane unit, and I'll create 60 dash BV dash, I can't remember again, uh, 670. Then I will save. I will call this my crane. Then I will save. Then I'm done with the Boko sector, all the systems under Boko sector and their various units and equipment. Then I'll go to Aba Sheki and I'll create a transport system. And under the transport system, we'll have the forklift. Okay, so I'll go here and I'll branch through the Seki, Seki transport. This is Seki transport, and under it I will create there's a tag there. What tag is that? Forklift is 30CR503, 30CR502. Then I'll call this the forklift and I'll save. Then again, the last one is the generator under the power generation unit, 50GN924. So I'll branch through the power generation. So this is generation power, and then the tag of the generator is 50GN924. 50GN, sorry, I forgot. 50GN924. 924. Okay, so I'll call this what is the error here? Only letters are allowed here. So who can spot the mistake? Who can spot the issue?
There's a space after gen. There's supposed to be a space after gen.
After gen, good. That's correct. So this should work now. So I'll call this diesel generator. So I will save it. So now we have structured our asset exactly the way we we have it on ground. Okay, we have first we have a site which is called Mac. Then we have three sub locations, which is Boko, Aba, and Asa. Then under Boko alone, we have three systems: TS, EK, CSS, and Lift. Then under Aba, we'll have just one, and under Asa, we'll have one gen. Then we have under this system, we have one production. Under CSS, we have deluge unit. Under Lift, we have crane unit, right? Likewise, all these things. So all these are defined in the system according to how the client, which you are implementing this thing for, wants it to be, because all these things will be decided by the client, and then you will force SAP to accept this setup. So if we go back to the system, remember I was telling you, I mentioned some transaction codes that we can use. We'll talk about create, which we just finished using. IL01 is the transaction code we use to create all these functional locations. Then change, if we want to change any of them, you use IL02. So if I launch, if I go out and I click IL02, I can enter any functional location, press enter, and modify anything. Maybe I will just add one on this generator and save. So if I want to make a change on it again, I use IL02. Then there's another transaction, IL03. This one will only give me the opportunity to display a functional location. Okay, I can even navigate from here to functional location and choose whether I want to create, or I want to change, or I want to display. So if I do this, it's the same thing as launching IL03. As long as you see the title now has changed to display functional location, you know that you are in IL02. Here you can't modify anything. It is grayed out. Everything is grayed out. You can only view the information. You can't. So if depending on your position in the company, you may be given access only to view the master data of this functional location, but you can't change anything inside. Just the way I was telling you how roles are assigned to users. So some users will only have authorization to view the master data of technical object, while other users will have authorization to change. So if you don't have authorization to change, you cannot use IL02. You can only use IL03, which is this one. Okay. Okay. So while you are in one transaction, you can navigate straight to the other, like look at change. So if you're in change, you can navigate straight to display. Okay. And you go to display through this functional location, but you can even navigate to create and you are on create. Okay, so there was another transaction I introduced you to, which is the list transaction, which will help us make a report, right, of all these functional locations we have created in a list format. So let's go back and use our IH06 to list all these functional locations we have created. So let's go to list, editing, and launch IH06. Okay, now, I want to throw this question to the class. I'm interested in listing all these functional locations that are created here. So which keyword can I use with as a wildcard search parameter to be able to display all these functional locations? Let's look at the list. So which keyword is common to all of them?
Mark.
Very good. So it means that all these things, mark is the highest level and all these other things are under mark. So every single functional location or any single level you want to see must begin with mark. So mark is a common level. So the easiest way to run this report is if I type mark and I put asterisk, then I'm going to return all functional locations that are what are created or that are under the plant mark. So you can see this is what we have just created now. The highest level is mark, Makodi plant. We have Asaba, Asaba sector. We have Asa sector and we have Boko sector. You see, so there's further subdivision of all these levels according to the, the the way we defined it. So this is displaying what the list or a report about this functional location. Now we have just 3 columns here: functional location, description, and planning plan. You can add main work center. Okay, so if you come to this current, all these are the ones that are already showing here. The 3 um, columns that are showing are on the left hand side, or you can see many more columns are on the right hand side. Okay, these ones are hidden, but you can activate them by just double clicking on it or selecting it and moving it to the left hand side. You see, now functional location categories here. Plant, I'll move it to the left hand side. Let's move also main work center. This is our main work center. I'll move it to the left hand side. So if I accept this setup now, my reports will have more information. You can see. So now we have planning plan, we have plant, we have all this information. And if you want to rearrange this, you can rearrange it by clicking at the top here and moving. You see there's a red line that is moving. You can place this one here. Okay, you can click on this one, select it, then move it to any location you want it to be. You can also download this report into Excel. Okay, there's a button here like a calculator. It's written spreadsheet. So if you click on it, then click continue, and then this is the final button. But unfortunately we don't have Excel software on the virtual machine, so system will not be able to export it to Excel. But at that level where I clicked last, it will transport all this into an Excel file. Okay, you can sort in ascending order or descending order. Okay, as you like. These 2 buttons will do that for you. You can make a filter. If I want to make a filter based on any parameter here, maybe based on I don't know. Let me just use a keyword. I will select this line, click on this filter, and then enter a keyword, for example, valve. Okay, let me just do asterisk valve asterisk, meaning that this valve is in between other characters. So any of the functional location here that has valve in it will be returned. Okay, so we have only one valve, deluge valve. That's why if it's filter based on that. So I also introduce you to another transaction. The last transaction we're going to look at is this one, structure. Okay, so what we have done here, we have structured our functional location, and we can also display the structure hierarchically. So if you want to display the hierarchical structure, this is the functional location, structure display, or you can type IH01 here directly, press enter.